Hey y'all, welcome back to Daily Diabetics. My name is Noelle. Welcome to week 7 and a very unedited raw version of me with no makeup on, which does not happen very often, but we are doing kind of an emergency quick decision pump site change because the one I put in yesterday is completely bruised and has gotten progressively worse and hard underneath. So you will be seeing me extract insulin from the reservoir I put in yesterday and putting it in a reservoir for the next 2 days. And yeah, I typically don't do this, but I figured tomorrow's change site day anyways, so I might as well do this. And yeah, so I'll show you how I care for my old site and fix that up, and then we'll get into doing the new site. So I hope you guys enjoy, and yes, let's just do this. Alright, so I don't know how well y'all are going to be able to see this. My site is in my thigh right here. As you can see, it's pretty bruised, so I'm going to take my pump and go ahead and disconnect. Pull that little guy up. Suspend. And then I'm going to peel this guy away. I don't know if it's going to bleed or not. Ow! Okay, that hurt. Ooh, that's a bad one. It just bruised around the site, but not where the site was. Let's see, I'll take you guys up close. That's so weird, right? So anyways, how I'm going to care for this, and sorry you're not going to see my face much of this video. What I'm going to do, and my outfit does not match, I know. I'm going to take an alcohol swab, and I'm just going to clean this in a circular motion, like so. Just to make sure there's nothing weird on there. And then I'm going to grab a Band-Aid, which this is, and kind of dry it off, which this is one of those new Hydro Seal Band-Aids, and they work really, really well. I really like these. I think they actually heal my beatus skin really well. So I just take it like this and like that and that. With these Band-Aids, they do say you don't need like triple antibiotic or anything, just to ensure that it does stick. Also, I do keep gauze in case if it's a bleeder or anything, but if you were wondering, that just fell in my purse. Wonderful filming skills. This is what the old site looked like. Nothing wrong with it. It was just maybe in a weird place or something. I seem to bruise anytime I do sites anymore. But anyways, let's jump in to me changing my actual site. Alright, so you're not going to see much of my face during this. You're going to see my pump. So what I'm going to do, I have it on suspend currently, so I'm going to resume. Say yes because it wants to resume. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to press the menu button. Let's get this to focus. And we're going down to, everything's backwards for me, new reservoir. And so I'm going to take the old reservoir out. And as you can see, there's a good chunk of insulin left in there. I don't like to waste my insulin. So we're going to press rewind. And it's pulling that little gray guy back in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to undo this like that. And then I am going to take a syringe and I am going to extract the insulin from in there. And I know this isn't highly recommended, but like I said, I just did this yesterday. So I guess I could show you guys what I'm doing. I gotta get it. This is horrible filming skills currently. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh, I can't, like the one time I can't get us in here. For real. Okay, it's coming. You can see it's pulling down the plunger on the reservoir. There's like 60 some units and I didn't want to waste it. And I know I'm very well aware this is not technically recommended, but it's a day old. Okay, that's all I'm going to take out of there because that's like 60 or 70 some units. Where'd that orange cap go? Darn nabbit. Hold on. Guys. Okay. So it's rewinded. No, it's not sterile. Oh well. And I'm going to take my reservoir, which is the 300 unit reservoir. And I am going to grab a alcohol swab and clean off my Humalog bottle. And I pump air in and out 2 to 3 times. So that's like 70 units, and I usually fill like 150 to 160 units for 2 days. They just, hi Mayhem, they just adjusted my basal rate, so I get about 40 because dawn phenomenon is a real thing, and I've been getting that recently, and they wanted more dinner time insulin for me, so yeah. So there's 100 units, 120, 40, we'll go 120. So you're just gonna pop this down on there. I press that down and then flip, and then it will do that for me. That's Mayhem, that's my kitten. She's a year old. I have another one named Pearl Jam, and he's 2. Looks just like her. So currently our pump is saying fill reservoir, and then you connect the tubing to the reservoir, but do not connect it to the body. So I use the Mio. This is the 6mm, 23-inch, 60 centimeter tubing. So what you're going to do, you're going to peel this red dude and take this plastic off, and then I peel this part to reveal the bottom. This is where you pull down, and then either you can just pop where this little lip is, you can pop up, it's really hard with really long nails, or I just press on these like ridged edges and it pops off the top. So this is what it looks like, and that blue thing is the needle cap. Let's get this going a little bit quicker. I'm not used to doing this in front of a camera. I'm sorry. I'm not explaining it real well. I'm not used to having to explain it either. So, so what you're going to do in the site is it's kind of notched and wedged in there. You're going to carefully pop it down. And then you have to be very careful because I don't know if you can see, but the tubing is wrapped around in there. So you have to like carefully do this so you don't rip the site up. Otherwise that is a wasted site, and a box of these is not cheap. It's like $170, I believe, for a box of 10. And pardon all the horrible angles. This is not a pleasant angle for the dub chin or the bod. So what you're going to do is you're going to put where this little notch is, you're going to put the tubing down in there. And we are going to, I flick along the way when I do this. You can probably hear my dad playing music. Mayhem. I have vintage suitcases over here, and she's clawing them. She does it all the time, and it makes me so upset. So I'm just going to put the 100 units in because I think I'm going to have more than enough. So there's the top of the reservoir thing, and I'm going to show you guys how I depot all my needles so I can recycle all the plastic. Insulin, that's enough for another change. And what I also do, this is how I preserve my insulin. I put it in medicine bottles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the syringe and I'm just going to put it in the top where that little rubber guy is. Alright. So this gave me close to 160 units. I figured out that these go up by 20, but I'm not really sure that that's the actual case, because if you ever look at the thing in Medtronic's reservoirs, it goes up at a peak, but that's just me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little guy, the end cap, and I'm going to connect like that when you hear the snap. If you heard that. Like that. Horrible angles, I am sorry. And then I push on the reservoir until you see insulin come through. See it go through there? And then I undo this. Little Miss Mayhem. And then I snap this in here. You twist until it locks, not going anywhere. And then I press the center button, and then you press load reservoir, and then you have to unlock. So I keep my pump upright, so I keep all air bubbles out. Press next, and then you hold down until it loads up to where you hit it on the reservoir. I'm really sorry about the bad angles, and that I look horrible. So that means that it hit where it is full of insulin. So we're gonna press next. And now we're gonna fill the tubing. So this is where I take off the needle cap. Maybe. This is like one of the harder parts. Not really, but and then I hold it. My dad's singing. Can you hear that? Alright, so you're gonna press fill and hold down until you see insulin droplets coming. Try to hold it next to my TV where you can. There we go. In my purse once again. So I filled it with 6.4 units. So there is the needle. Let's see if I can get it to focus on it without everything else in the way. Never mind. We tried. Okay. Alright. Let me readjust to how I'm going to be standing. Real quick, Miss Mayhem wanted to say hi. Yes, I wash my hands. Don't worry, this is a sanitary process. Alright, so we are back. So I am going to be going, I think, up here in my stomach. I don't go down here because it's all pretty scarred up. So yeah, I'll be going up here. Probably, yeah. So I do this in 2 steps. I use 2 alcohol swabs. Typically 4 per site change, for 1 for the old site, 1 for the insulin bottle, and then 2. I always do a circular motion. Let that dry. See if I can do this a smarter way. I do still flinch when I do my pump sites, by the way. So if I flinch, it's nothing new. Because I still hate needles. Even though I have tattoos, I hate needles. And then what I'm going to use here is a protective barrier wipe, just to make it a little more sticky. But before I do that, I am going to peel this white plastic off carefully, and I hold the tubing down to make sure I don't pull anything as well. Maybe you can see the needle a little bit better now. Maybe not. Okay. And I don't know if you've seen Lindsay's video when her friend put in her Dexcom, but I do hold it the same way. I kind of hold it in the package a little bit more because I don't like my fingers being like outrageously sticky. So just gonna do that there, and then wait for the fingers to dry just a little bit. They're so sticky. And then what you do, you hold it by the ridges, cock it back like so, and then I like my tubing to face down pretty much. So what I'm gonna do is, sorry for the bad angles, this is the scariest part, and I pinch a little bit and go like this, like that, pull up, and the new site is in. Wasn't that bad, was it, guys? Perfect. Alright, so before I let you go, this is just something I do personally. It helps me feel a little bit better. I like to be a little low waste, or so I recycle some things. So what I do is I take an old pill bottle, I labeled it needles, and I take pliers and Mayhem's back. And what I do is I depot all of my needles and then recycle all of the plastic, because we recycle in my house. You couldn't really see that. It's fine. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry for the horrible angles. Sorry for looking bad. I thought this was some nice raw footage so you could see what diabetes is really like, because I feel like more often than not people can set up site changes really well and be like, oh, blah blah blah. And no offense to anyone, because I know that's the ideal way I wanted to do this, but I was like, you know what, this is going to be a good way to show people how this works. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you next week.